Germany is currently facing a significant challenge regarding its immigration policies, particularly in light of recent events that have reignited debates about the treatment of migrants and the responsibilities of the state. The government has announced plans to cut benefits for refugees who arrive in Germany after having passed through other European Union countries. This means that individuals who have traveled from countries like Spain to Germany will find themselves ineligible for the kind of support that many have come to expect. Instead, Chancellor Olaf Scholz has indicated that these individuals will only receive the most basic necessities, described as bed, bread, and soap. This decision is particularly striking given the backdrop of a recent attack at a street festival in Solingen, where a suspected religious extremist allegedly took the lives of innocent people. The chilling reality of such incidents has led to a growing sense of urgency among policymakers as they grapple with the implications of migration on national security and social cohesion. Germany has long prided itself on being a welcoming nation for refugees, particularly during the height of the Syrian civil war, when former Chancellor Angela Merkel famously declared that, "We can do this." Merkel's open-door policy allowed hundreds of thousands of asylum seekers to enter the country, fundamentally changing the demographic landscape. However, as the years have passed, the political and social ramifications of this decision have become increasingly complex. The rise of far-right parties and anti-immigration sentiment has put pressure on the government to reevaluate its approach to asylum seekers and migrants. The recent comments from Chancellor Scholz suggest a shift towards a more restrictive policy, which may reflect the growing concerns among the German populace regarding security and integration. The decision to deny benefits to migrants who have traveled through other EU countries raises important questions about the responsibilities of member states within the European Union. The Dublin Regulation, which governs the processing of asylum applications in the EU, stipulates that the first country of entry is responsible for handling an asylum seeker's claim. This means that if a refugee arrives in Spain and then makes their way to Germany, Spain is technically responsible for processing their application. However, the reality is that many migrants seek to move through multiple countries in search of better opportunities or safety, leading to a complex web of responsibilities that often leaves individuals in limbo. Chancellor Scholz's announcement comes at a time when the number of migrants arriving in Europe has surged. In recent months, there has been a notable increase in the number of individuals attempting to cross the Mediterranean Sea to reach European shores. According to the International Organization for Migration, IOM, over 100,000 migrants arrived in Europe by sea in the first half of 2024 alone, marking a significant rise compared to previous years. This uptick in crossings has put additional strain on countries like Italy and Greece, which are often the first points of entry for migrants. As these nations grapple with their own challenges, the burden of managing migration flows has increasingly shifted to other countries, including Germany. The announcement of reduced benefits for certain migrants may be an attempt to deter individuals from making the journey to Germany, but it also raises ethical questions about the treatment of vulnerable populations seeking refuge from conflict and persecution. The implications of this policy change extend beyond the immediate concerns of migration and security. The decision to limit benefits for certain asylum seekers may have significant social consequences, particularly for communities that have historically welcomed migrants. Germany has long been seen as a model for successful integration, with programs designed to help newcomers assimilate into society. However, as the government takes a more hardline stance, there is a risk that social cohesion could be undermined. Communities that have embraced diversity may feel alienated by the government's policies, leading to increased polarization and tension between different groups. In addition to the social implications, there are also economic considerations to take into account. Germany has a strong economy that relies on a diverse workforce to drive growth and innovation. As the country faces demographic challenges, including an aging population and a declining birth rate, the need for skilled labor has never been more pressing. Many migrants come to Germany with valuable skills and a strong desire to contribute to society. According to a report from the German Federal Employment Agency, around 40% of asylum seekers in Germany possess qualifications that could fill gaps in the labor market. By cutting benefits and potentially deterring migrants from coming to Germany, the government may inadvertently hinder its own economic prospects. The long-term success of the German economy may depend on its ability to attract and retain talent from around the world, and a more restrictive immigration policy could undermine that goal. The recent attack in Solingen attributed to a suspected extremist, has undoubtedly heightened fears regarding security and the potential for radicalization among certain migrant populations. However, it is essential to recognize that the vast majority of asylum seekers and migrants are not involved in criminal activities and are instead seeking safety and stability for themselves and their families. The challenge for the German government lies in balancing the need for security with a commitment to humanitarian principles. While it is crucial to address legitimate security concerns, it is equally important to avoid stigmatizing entire communities based on the actions of a few individuals. As Germany navigates this complex landscape, the government must also consider the broader implications of its policies on the European stage. The issue of migration is not confined to Germany. It is a challenge faced by many countries across the continent. The recent surge in crossings and the resulting political tensions highlight the need for a coordinated European response to migration. Rather than adopting unilateral measures that may exacerbate divisions, Germany could play a leading role in advocating for a comprehensive approach that addresses the root causes of migration while ensuring the protection of human rights. The impact of these policy changes is already being felt in various sectors of society. Local governments, which often bear the brunt of implementing federal policies, are expressing concerns about the potential fallout from reduced benefits for migrants. Many municipalities have reported increased pressure on social services and housing as they struggle to accommodate both local residents and newcomers. The fear is that cutting benefits could lead to increased poverty and social unrest among migrant populations, which in turn could exacerbate tensions between communities. Moreover, the public's perception of migrants is also influenced by media narratives that often sensationalize stories of crime and violence associated with asylum seekers. This can create a cycle of fear and mistrust, making it more challenging for migrants to integrate into society. Community organizations and NGOs have been working tirelessly to counteract these narratives by highlighting the positive contributions of migrants to German society. For example, many migrants have successfully started businesses, contributed to the workforce, and engaged in volunteer activities, enriching the cultural fabric of their communities. However, these stories often receive less media attention than negative headlines, making it crucial for advocates to amplify positive narratives. The political landscape in Germany is also shifting in response to these developments. The far-right Alternative for Germany, AfD party, has gained traction by capitalizing on public fears surrounding immigration. The party's anti-immigration rhetoric has resonated with a segment of the population that feels threatened by the rapid changes in society. As the AfD continues to gain support, mainstream parties are feeling the pressure to adopt more hardline stances on immigration to retain voters. This dynamic can lead to a race to the bottom, where parties compete to present the most stringent policies, further marginalizing vulnerable populations. In light of these challenges, it is essential for the German government to engage in open dialogue with various stakeholders, including migrant communities, local governments, and civil society organizations. By fostering an inclusive approach, the government can better understand the needs and concerns of different groups and develop policies that promote social cohesion while addressing security concerns. Additionally, investing in integration programs that provide language training, job placement assistance, and cultural orientation can help migrants successfully navigate their new environment and contribute to society. Furthermore, Germany should consider its role within the broader European context when addressing migration issues. The European Union has faced significant challenges in managing migration flows, and a coordinated approach is essential for effective solutions. Germany could advocate for reforms to the Dublin regulation that would distribute responsibilities more equitably among member states and ensure that all countries share the burden of accommodating asylum seekers. By working collaboratively with other EU nations, Germany can help create a more humane and sustainable migration system that respects the rights of individuals while addressing the concerns of citizens. In conclusion, Germany's decision to cut benefits for certain migrants reflects a broader trend of tightening immigration policies in response to security concerns and public sentiment. While the government must address legitimate fears regarding safety and integration, it is essential to approach the issue with a balanced perspective that recognizes the contributions of migrants to society and the economy. The challenges posed by migration require thoughtful and compassionate solutions that uphold Germany's values as a nation committed to human rights and dignity. As the country grapples with these complex issues, it must strive to find a path forward that fosters social cohesion, economic growth, and a commitment to humanitarian principles. The future of Germany's immigration policy will undoubtedly shape the nation's identity and its role within the European Union, making it imperative for leaders to engage in open dialogue and seek collaborative solutions that benefit all members of society. Ultimately, the situation in Germany serves as a microcosm of the larger debates surrounding migration across Europe and the world. As countries grapple with the realities of globalization, conflict, and economic disparity, the challenge of managing migration will remain at the forefront of political discourse. Germany's response to these challenges will not only impact its own citizens and migrants, but will also resonate throughout Europe and beyond, influencing how nations approach the complex issues of migration, integration, and social cohesion in the years to come. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe for more in-depth looks